There you go, sorry it's about as scrappy as I ever look, but finished the first of today's double VO2 session. So that's 3 by 6 minutes on this climb. If you see one of my YouTube videos from 2020, which my clickbait title was something like 36 minutes of 50 watts. Today I've just done 3, but Kolie style, 700s first 20 seconds and like 100 plus RPM. Other than that first 20 seconds, because like 20%, I got to keep in the big ring, so I couldn't. So we've done 460, 455, 449, and it's weird. You kind of don't. The last one was starting fatigue, but it's just the fatigue is different from if you're doing a natural cadence, where you actually kind of feel more tired at the end, but you're not breathing as hard during. What I'm finding now, I'm kind of fresh as this VO2 block goes on, is I can't push the big gear so much, but I had my mini rest now, which was like 90-minute recovery ride, 4 hours of heat, 90-minute recovery ride, and so legs pretty golden today. So like 5 to 7 by 3 on the turbo tonight, and maybe hit another double tomorrow. So just got to speak with Jimmy the Blade, see if he thinks that's sensible, because we've got to pace it with 1 week left to go in the block. So until next time guys, ride home now and recover, try and get at least 4 hours of recovery until the next session. Catch you later guys.
So this is sort of like breakfast after the first session. That tin pineapple is really good because it's like really one of the highest fructose fruits, like 250 calories, so it'll be like over 50 grams of fructose probably, for like pretty cheap, pretty quick and easy, with some cornflakes, protein powder and soy milk.
Curry's in. Time for some heat. I didn't stop for less than a minute on that 3 by 6, so hence still breathing so hard, my mouth is dry. Same climb as last week. Maybe the cadence slightly lower, especially on the last one, but about 15 watts more. 475, 460, 458, like 800 watts the first 20 seconds of each one. That was at lower cadence, and then we'll just spin to win, right? So now we get home, about 20 minutes on the main road, get some sleep. Didn't sleep that well, worrying about my new bike and the seat post. We have a little nap, quickly see if we can top up the glycogen stores before 5 to 7 by 3 minutes tonight, and then tomorrow double again if we can, and then weekend fully off. Till next time, catch you in a minute guys. Hey guys, so quick summation on that VO2 max block. We did so I guess between the first and the last VO2 max session was we did 8 double days, so 16 sessions altogether, of efforts ranging between 3 and 6 minutes long,
Normally I'd be going for something like the longer efforts in the morning, so they'd be anything from 3x6 to 5x4 minutes, and all of them kind of like fast start, so like starting with some type of surge front load, a bit depending on how fatigued I was, or whether I was indoors or outdoors. When I was outdoors doing the 3x6, I tend to start with this this road where the first 20 seconds is like I have to do well, I don't have to, if it went to little ring, but I want to stay in the big ring for the whole effort, so 700 plus watts to get up this like 20% berg, and then just like kind of falls flat for most of the rest of that. So that worked quite well on the road. And then on the trainer I just kind of do something similar, but maybe more like just a sustained surge for the whole first 30 seconds a minute. So that's to get your speed up your O2 kinetics. So it does add a bit more fatigue, so maybe it means you can't do quite as many intervals over the course of the block, but I think that's a bit individual, and I think also per interval then you're getting more time at VO2 max. So for that morning session I try to like maximize the time close to VO2 max relative to the mechanical and work done and the metabolic work done. So I think the 3x6 works really well there. And then those evening sessions were just normally 3 minutes. I did manage some days to get some productive feeling 4-minute efforts. And what I normally found is that first with the first day of double days, that evening session was quite good. When I tried doing double days, so back to back, I never did more than 3 or 4 3-minute efforts. But I found my ability to do these back-to-back intensity improve throughout the block, which is quite weird. So the first day I couldn't even do a single double day. And then when I tried double, that second day was, I think I did like 4x3 minutes and 3x3 minutes. Whereas by the second 2 doubles I did, I was like actually felt like I was bashing out a pretty productive, 4x4 minutes, 1x3, and then 1x3 to finish. And like that last session 1 of double was really good. So that's the work run. And then I was kind of averaging around 25ish hours for that 3 and a bit weeks, which, as the calendar week fall meant it was like 30, 20, and then 20 in 5 days, because then I took the whole weekend off to finish some endurance. So I felt that was just about the right balance. And then 4 to 5 times a week it was only ever 4 times a week of doing an hour of heat training, so just wrapping up as many layers as I could while I was riding on the trainer. And what this does is it gives you more blood volume, so you might get a little bit more hemoglobin, but it is mostly just diluting your blood with water effectively, which, if you think about it, is a pretty useful adaptation if you're going to be in the heat, because it effectively makes you like more resistant to dehydration. So what you'll see is if you do get dehydrated on a ride, your heart rate becomes higher for the same power output, and that's because your heart has to pump that same blood round more times per minute to deliver the same oxygen, and that that can only go so far. Your blood can only get so thick before it starts to become a problem, and you just get heat exhaustion, I suppose. Or you slow down before something really bad happens. More plasma volume, even if it's just basically diluting your blood. So you get some acute weight gain with this, which I have to emphasize to my clients is what we're looking for. You've not gotten fat to keep you fueling your VO2 max block. You wouldn't want to just start trying to lose weight in the middle of VO2 max block, because then you would not be able to do both simultaneously. Simply impossible and stupid.
So yeah, the idea of this why we do the heat training alongside these VO2 max efforts is because it's so when you're doing the VO2 max training, it's like you want to maximize eccentric hypertrophy, and you want to make it's like heavy lifting for your heart, and so you're aiming for eccentric hypertrophy in your left ventricle in particular. And the more blood you have, that's like the heavier the weight your heart is effectively having to lift with each beat. So biacutely, well, it's sort of acutely, it takes 5-6 weeks really. We want to get these like 4 or 5 heat training sessions a week to get the most benefit. So yeah, you kind of, let's call it acutely because I can't think of the other word for now. By having more blood volume, you're making your heart work harder during these VO2 max efforts. So getting more stimulus from them. So the same applies to also just like being more as aerobically fit as you can, getting your EF as high as you can from endurance and minimal intensity, sweet spot FTP work, whatever, before the block is going to give you that better response to it. And so yeah, back to me and the block training I just did. I really was seeing, I feel like 5-6 watts of like more power each double day. Like after a double you just fatigue the next day for the next double, but like yeah, really quite potent and fast improvements. So yeah, and those double days just seem to really do something different. Who knows exactly why? Maybe it's just because you are just getting in that little bit more work like than you ever could with single days. I don't know. The deliberately higher cadence of keeping it around 100 to 110 most of the time. For me, it was more like it's never more than 105. Like, so I really spinning's not very natural to me. That helps spare your big motor units across the block, and it really does make all the difference. Like for me, if I tried doing it in natural cadence, I couldn't get through that amount of work. And the oxygen uptake, which is what you're really interested in, tends to get higher. And the preload, which is the pressure at which your heart is having to push against, which is what matters for what we're looking for, is higher with the higher cadence due to that like muscle pump effect as well. So where were we? It seems to have been really potent, and I think absolute minimum I've seen a 20 watt increase in my threshold from it, and quite possibly more like 30 something, which in like 2 weeks and 5 days is pretty enormous. But obviously we hadn't done all the preparatory work for that, then we wouldn't have got such a good response out of it. So freshening up now, although it hasn't been a lot of travelling and not very kind of restful subsequent 5 days, so a few more easy days, and then looking forward to seeing how my new heart, legs and lungs perform with some efforts out on the road on the new bike, which new Canyon, hopefully we can get it to fit eventually.